Hello, hello, folks. Thank you for checking in on us. This wonderful season 11, we're shining light on Mr. John Leacock, who is based in Guelph, Ontario, which is west of Toronto, but he is Tobago born. He's a Tobagonian.
Yeah.
He's also an entrepreneur. He's also a successful realtor. Stay tuned. Hi, folks. Welcome to this TRINI Corner episode brought to you by Caribbean Airlines and supported by our Consul General of Trinidad and Tobago, New York, Mr. J. Andre Laveau, Aussie Stewart. You know, grateful that you're checking in on us, giving flowers to deserving impactors within the Trinbagonian diaspora. And on this episode, I'm shining light on Mr. John Leacock, entrepreneur, successful realtor, and a passionate community advocate. Yes, he's known as Big John, but Mr. Leacock, very influential in this town of Guelph, west of Toronto in Ontario. So please like, follow, share, subscribe, drop a comment, and check in on our membership page, which is Inside the Call, which you know is done specifically for members, so join the community. You know what I like to do? Give you a brief. This is going to be a long brief on Mr. John Leacock. He's a passionate community advocate, as I said before, successful realtor, born in Tobago, spent his formative years immersed in a diverse cultural and athletic environment. At Bishop's High School in Tobago, where he was the most outstanding player basketball award given in 1982, and on the basketball championship team, a Cadet Force Drill Sergeant at the top platoon in the country, and excelled in ballroom dancing in the high school dance competitions. We're going to get to that later. He began his higher education at Dawson College in Montreal, where he earned a diploma in health and social sciences. He excelled on the basketball court as a member of the Dawson College Blues. Sounds like a band, right? The number one ranked college team in Canada for 2 consecutive years from 86 and 87. His tenure at Dawson also involved active participation in various cultural clubs. But after Dawson, he continued his education at the University of Guelph, obtaining a diploma in agriculture with a focus on general farm management, while also contributing to the university as a power forward for the Varsity Basketball Team. He later earned a General Bachelor's degree in marketing management, and during this time he engaged with the West Indian Student Association and campus radio, showcasing his deep commitment to student life. Upon completing his diploma in agriculture, he gained hands-on experience at the University of Guelph's research farms, working extensively with large animals and managing a feed mill. So he also had roles in animal care, food delivery, which provided him with important insights into the local community. In 1992, he founded Big John Entertainment, promoting local club events and growing his email list in 1 year to 350 fans. His career in media progressed as he served as a music director and radio announcer at CFRU 93.3 FM from 1997 to 2001, where he also significantly increased advertising revenue as the advertising sales manager. In 2001, he moved back to Tobago with his family, promoted cultural events, including jazz and writers' festivals, and established a Mr. Fiddler's Cafe, which offered popular light meals and was a social spot on the island. Returning to Canada 1 year later, following the events of September 11, Big John embarked on a career as a realtor. He officially kicked off this career in 2006 with Coldwell Banker Newman Real Estate. Shout out to Coleman Bankers Newman Real Estate. And since then, he consistently positioned himself among the top 5% of sales associates within the Guelph and District Association of Realtors in both commercial and residential real estate sectors. He holds a Certified International Property Specialist CIPS designation, which enables him to handle a wide array of real estate transactions, both locally and internationally. So look out for Mr. John if you need some help with your real estate. He was a past board member of the Guelph and District Association of Realtors and chair of the Marketing, Public Relations, and Publicity Committees. He was instrumental in the creation of the independent real estate publication, Real Estate Update, and actively participated in the rebranding efforts of the association in 2009 to 2010. He connects clients with essential services, including mortgage brokers, lawyers, contractors, reinforcing his belief that, quote unquote, real estate is not about houses, it's about people. He has built a reputation as a man of integrity, known for his straightforwardness and sincerity. His clients often commend his dedication to finding not just a house, but a home. Big John, I'm going to say it this time, embodies the spirit of community engagement. His involvement with the Hillside Festival began when he first attended as a food vendor in 1994 to 2007. He's a founding member of the Guelph Black Heritage Society and has contributed to the Downtown Guelph Renewal Committee, influencing the cultural and economic landscape of the city. Over the last 8 years, Big John has played a significant role in Guelph's Downtown Advisory Committee, which works closely with the City Council to enhance the downtown area's vibrancy. His commitment to community has also evidenced through regular sponsorship of events such as the Guelph Jazz Festival, the Gospel Festival, and Guelph Pride, fostering cultural diversity and local unity. He's been even asked to run for mayor, but he prefers to stay close to advocate for the community and its people. On top of everything else, John Leacock is a board member for two organizations. One is Kindle Communities, which provides housing for the marginalized and homes as well. And number two, Village Finding, which provides help for marginalized families. On top of that, he has a commitment to his community, which is evidenced through regular sponsorship of events such as the Guelph Jazz Festival, the Guelph Film Festival, the Gospel Festival, and Guelph Pride Festival, which is then seen as fostering cultural diversity and local community. As he said himself, he's full circle, music, culture, and economic development. Now we're going to talk to Mr. John Leacock. And by the way, guys, again, Caribbean Airlines, Jean-Drew Laveau, thank you so very much for allowing us this journey. Now, Mr. John Leacock, what inspired you to transition from your early work in agriculture and entertainment to real estate?
That's a really good question, and thanks for the great accolades. Sometimes it's mind-boggling the amount of stuff that I've been involved in, but that keeps me sane. The transition into real estate, to be quite honest, it was nurtured in Tobago without me knowing it. My mom being a registrar of births and deaths involved with land and writing affidavits and that kind of stuff. My dad was involved in so many different things in terms of renting properties. So when I decided from transitioning from agriculture, I should say as bluntly as possible, I really came to Canada with the intention to work in agriculture, whether in Canada or move back to Tobago. But I needed practical experience. When I did all the different aspects of agriculture, from working in research and working in animal feed production, my intention was to get practical information. What happened was that I had difficulty a lot to do with institutional racism that I experienced with trying to get interviews for jobs in the field that I felt I had practical knowledge in. So I had to make the dance, and I made the dance into culture and music. Then I got involved with radio for 4 years there. And then my horizon started to change when I started doing things like putting on big performances and transitioning into that kind of entertainment stuff, that I had a contact list of multiple people. So it was very good for me to build from that background. And I always loved real estate. And I had some really close friends that said, John, you should consider it. And that
The journey may have been circuitous, but it got you where
it got
you
me
need
to where I need to be.
Can you share your experience of starting your own entertainment company and how it shaped your skills for real estate?
Well, I should talk quickly about Guelph. Guelph is just west of Toronto. At the time when I moved to Guelph, there was a strong Caribbean international student committee and community, but like the larger community is largely European, white, Canadian. So when you go to the clubs outside of the Caribbean events, it was just red wine and hot was the only calypsos that was being played. And I was like, no, I saw the niche that we need to start bringing DJs. So I started bringing me and my friend, my roommate at the time, he started bringing DJs to a place on the University of Guelph campus, which was an old bull ring. The bull ring was where they sold bulls. University of Guelph is an agricultural school, so that place became a nightclub, and we started packing that place from Bob Marley birthday events to a steady flow of fun destination events for people that came from all across the student associations, from Toronto all the way to Guelph, Kitchener, Waterloo, and London, Ontario.
So how did your time at the university influence your approach to business and marketing and real estate? Did it?
It did. I came from a business entrepreneurial family. From a kid, I had my own little shop called Green Fingers in Scarborough, Tobago, on the bottom of Burnett Hill in Scarborough, where my dad built a little building.
Big up Tobago.
Big up Scarborough, Tobago, uptown Scarborough. And back then I sold poinsettias at Christmas time and crotons and grafted plants, and even got into selling bananas, fruits, and avocados. So I always had that experience of taking risk, So when I got into to any kind of, I always looked at my numbers and that made me feel a lot more comfortable in real estate, because there's such flexibility. Like when you go to getting into real estate, there was no big job interview. There was just about,
the transaction.
here you go, you have your real estate license, let me see you work. There was no clearance or no racial. And at that time, I was like one of the few people of color selling real estate in Guelph. So that was our upward battle. So I'm good at making transition. And that's from being in a competitive athletic background as well, from sports and knowing how it is to be nationally ranked as #1. Yeah.
How has being a member of the community here shaped your approach to real estate?
Well, I'm a community developer first, I say. So by being a community developer, it puts me in regular meetings with issues that relate to the growth and development of the community. And during those intersections, I have opportunities to meet people that want to have a real estate discussion, whether it's selling their home or finding a home, or whether this property here, could we develop this into an infill development? Which I should explain for listeners, infill development is huge here in Canada, where we try to build within the existing footprint of the community rather than sprawl.
What does that look like? What does that look like?
Okay, just for example, there's a piece of land that was never developed, but there's houses all around it. Or say like there was a fire, or there's a property that could be rezoned to a residential use within the city limits. So the buses already pass by, the infrastructure is already there, rather than having to go out to a farmer's field or or expand it into an area where you have to bring in all the infrastructure, like postal service, farming, piping, fiber optics and all the different things that you will have to do in regular transitional. So my expertise, in infill development is seeing those opportunities and capturing them.
What unique insights do you believe your background in agriculture and animal care brings to your work?
Okay, the first part is to be human. I communicated with bulls in research.
Okay.
And then the transition to human beings, that there's somebody on the other side that you have to listen to them in addition to them listening to you as a bull or a cow or a dog in research. Is that empathy. And from agriculture, there's a lot of work in land and severances that I studied in rural agricultural studies that were really instrumental in me picking up and being able to switch roles and become a realtor to sell a farm. Last year I sold a horse farm, and I mean the knowledge base that I got from agriculture helped me with that, as opposed to just being restricted to selling homes.
Right.
Yeah.
All-rounder. What are some of the biggest challenges you face? You mentioned initially getting into it, there was, some adversity, but what are some of the biggest challenges you face, and how did you overcome them? Like, so a new person is looking to get into the industry, they've heard about you, what can they look? Your experience might be different to theirs, especially as yours began some time ago. But what are the biggest challenges
The challenges that I had at the start was getting your brand out there in an industry where there's hundreds of other realtors. But I quickly realized that in that 100, at that time there was about 575 to 600 realtors within this area. Is that there's a lot of the realtors that don't work as much. It might be a part-time or they might be stick to one genre, one area of real estate. So the challenge was to recognize your difference and how to market what makes you different, what is the value proposition that you could provide that is unique. And usually it's my personality and, calling myself big just also made it a lot easier in my branding, because I used the old Big John Entertainment, call myself Big John in single quotes, so that it skips that conversation when you make that initial interaction with somebody that's gonna say, holy smokes, you're a big guy. But if I call myself Big John, then the segue into real estate is a lot shorter.
Right.
Yeah, it's like having shoes without laces. It's a lot easier to put on and take off,
Okay. So with that, how do you maintain that strong community connection?
I actually do a lot more volunteer work than the actual offer realtor work. So by being so much involved in the community, most of my real estate transactions are from people that referred me to my real estate services, or people that I meet just in the community, or people that are spreading the word by my involvement in the community.
If you were to sit with somebody have over tea, who in history would you want to sit down with?
Maya Angelou. I love, even with my emails out to people, I quote Maya Angelou when she says, it's not what you do, it's how you make them feel. And that is the thesis of my thing. I would love to have a conversation with her about how she enjoyed Calypso, how she was influenced by Caribbean culture. And I love her music. I love the Calypso part and her written prose, and that kind of strength of a matriarch like that is somebody that I would have loved to meet. Yeah.
What's one thing your business venture or ventures did that you didn't expect? What's one unexpected thing, let's say in the entertainment business, that you experienced that you didn't expect?
In the entertainment business?
Yeah.
I didn't realize how willing a good performing artist could be willing to shift genres of music for performance. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about Brainerd Blyden Taylor and Nathaniel Det Corral. I remember seeing them performing up in Collingwood, Ontario at a small venue, this great folk operatic choir. And he was willing to work with the Tobago Signal Hill Choir, which is a...
Explain, before you do that,
Yes.
explain who he is.
Brainerd Blyden Taylor is a diaspora of Trinidad and general Caribbean heritage. I discovered him and got to find out he was one of Canada's top. He still is one of Canada's top clinicians and and conductors, and a musical genius that is a conductor some of choirs, Canada's top choirs, and including the Nathaniel Det Chorale in Toronto, where Brainerd founded from renaming this choir after a great Canadian American of a fugitive slave heritage, who was the first black man to put gospel music into written music. And most of the music that the Nathaniel Det Chorale will perform will be music of this man, and celebrating Negro spirituals in a 20 to 25 member group operatic performance. So we were able to sell out 2 nights at the Toronto Centre for Performing Arts.
How many seats?
2,000 seats. Front page, national and national TV and radio, with the collaboration with the Signal Hill Alumni Choir, which is similar to the Soweto Gospel Choir. They won the highest awards internationally for their performance, with mixing traditional calypso music, folk songs of Tobago, which you might have known in your era of the Best Village, with John Arnold, who is a well-trained musician there. And the choir involves movement, theatric movement with the songs. And seeing those 2 choirs with these trained operatic performance on stage with a Caribbean well-trained and seasoned choir performers, that was one of my entertainment highlights. I could talk about the flamenco show after, but that's different. Yeah.
What began your promotion work, your entertainment? What was it how did that begin?
I always loved music of all genres, and I think that excitement of music, and I think, again, I always related back to my parents. My parents were people in Tobago in the 1960s. They were on the organizing committee for the celebration of independence of Trinidad and Tobago. We have all the minutes. My mom had a school and all the minutes. She's a really good typist. My dad was one of the founders of Tobago Carnival. When Trinidad had the popular carnival, he brought elements of that, and Tobagoized it in Tobago. And so that, I always was fascinated by my dad doing that, and that willingness to take that risk. And I love music, so I have a really good sense of verbiage and how you write something to create excitement, so that when people come, they're completely enthralled by the musical or cultural event. So that's what inspires me for music.
In what ways do you think your upbringing in Tobago shaped your understanding of community and service here?
Well, I should say that my parents were culture. They loved that sense of entitlement, that willingness to recognize that you could become culturally known in your community rather than sticking within the specific community, that you be part of the larger decision process is what my parents kind of instilled in me, from getting my elder brother to write a letter to the Prime Minister or the Governor General as he did at a young age. And knowing those stories is similar to me coming here and recognizes that I don't necessarily just have to be an immigrant. I should really actively participate in being the part of the change for the community and seeing the community develop around good ideas, you know?
What does good customer service mean to you?
Good customer service and comes with, I don't want to use the cliche like honorability, comes from good listening and being an advocate for the best interests of your client in your best interpretation of what that is. So I think that's good customer service, being able to listen and being, you know, having the emotional intelligence to respect the needs of your clients and try to represent them as the best as you could in any business transaction.
What makes your heart smile when you look at your real estate career or even projects? When you look at your entertainment and the culture, and then when you look at the economic end of your advocacy, the development as far as advocacy?
Yeah, I just find that feeling of you alone recognizing that this idea was generated in your heart first and in your soul and your being and seeing it come into fruition, that makes my heart smile, you know.
On all levels?
On all levels, yes.
So in your looking at the next 5 years, where do you see yourself in your real estate career?
In my real estate career, I recognize that there's certain changes that's going to happen in society. I'm working on my demographic, and you and me in the same demographic. I think that real estate is going to be a lot more fluid internationally with things, more movement of money internationally, and I think that I would want to do more international work. I actually work with a close friend of mine who's a top realtor in California, and he does some of the, unfortunately, he lost a lot in the fire, including his home, but
recently,
yes, you know, and a lot of his potential business, because a lot of the homes that he would have farmed within his sphere of influence and sales are gone. So now he has to shift to redevelopment. And in terms of real estate, that is a big area of interest. My biggest area is that I just formed a non-profit organization. I'm also partnering with an organization to build accessory dwelling units in the backyards of homes. So the culture of real estate is moving away from the Eurocentric concept of single detached homes where families are insulated. And it's moving kind of to like what we knew of back home, like you have that first home up front and then you're allowed to build a second home in the back. So as of January the 7th in Guelph, you're allowed to do 4 units per single detached home, including, so I have a company that I'm working with called Packed Homes.
Shout out.
PACDHOMES. He actually has a home that is named the Leacock Design. And it's these detached homes that are manufactured, not built. And that's the future of real estate development.
Well, what do you mean by, explain to me manufacturing?
Okay, so like we put together, because of the dying off of trades, there's so many trades that, and to keep up with the global demand for housing, we're in a global crisis post-COVID. The way homes are being built, usually under the traditional way of home, the building where it takes several days, you know, you have the pouring of the foundation, then the framing, the electrical, the plumbing on each stage. What the guys that I have, these guys worked in the automotive industry, and they transferred the skills, the fluidity of build into constructing these homes off-site and bringing them in a modular way and putting them together. So you and I could put a home together. And the company...
Is that something like taking bins and making homes?
Oh,
or
that is
there's
more
a
of a
difference?
fad. Just like
Okay.
tiny homes is, in my opinion, a fad. We're talking about 650 up to 860 square
Square
feet
feet.
homes in your backyard. As long
Wow.
as you have a deep enough backyard.
Right.
The only thing is to connect. And the homes that we're building are smart, right? In that you control your phone from your phone.
Right.
The materials that we use last 45, 50 years.
Right.
So I'm like, that's the thing that I sold about 12 of them so far.
Really?
And we're looking to really scale them, because the good thing about these homes is that the way we build them, you could, like for laneway homes, like what they have in Toronto, where you have properties that are really close and you can't get the home to the backyard,
Right.
the size of the parts of this home could go straight through your front door and into the backyard. So
And what
it's-
about costs then?
the
It'll be less
cost,
than.
this is the first type of real estate where the cost is actually going down as we become more and more proficient in our designs. So I've been having meetings here on my veranda with HVAC guys, with electricians, to see how less we need them
Right.
to put these homes together. So like I said, instead of building homes,
Right.
homes are going to be manufactured efficiently
Almost by demand. I need
by
a home.
demand. And some of these homes, even for fires, we could have built-in sprinkler systems,
Right.
and the homes could even be dismantled
Right.
if a raging fire is coming towards it, and we're using that to go towards First Nations communities up north,
Right.
and working with the First Nation chiefs to build these homes in remote areas of Canada.
Would
we're
that
using-
also be something that could be used in California as well?
in
If that was
California,
what's
in the
happened?
Caribbean, and everywhere. I
Wow.
think that's my biggest shift is
Wow.
towards that. I
Wow.
start using manufactured techniques for home production. That's the big future. And fluidity of money between countries would result in international real estate representation. That is why I got myself certified in international real estate, so that I could represent expats
Right.
who are wanting to make a partial transition to Caribbean life and building developments that Caribbean people like you and me could share a place in Tobago or in Grenada or one of these progressive islands that I love, like I want to visit Dominica and all of these places. So the next 5 years is where I want to spend my time with doing this kind of innovative stuff and still selling homes and still being the guy that's gonna make sure that the home that you buy, you live in for way longer, especially with these changes. I mean,
Right.
the big developers don't like it too much,
Right.
because they know how to shift their game, because people are spending longer times in their homes.
Right.
You know, so like them with all being demographically blatant, but there's a lot of widows out there who could come with the money from the house, the pre-matrimonial home, and build a separate ADU in the backyard of a home that you assist your kids to purchase. And then she could live in the backyard in a decent home
Right.
and be close if there's
Any
PSW care or whatever. That whole combination of multiple communities on a single family home lot
That's-
and the multiple demographics is the way that we could recapture the raging price and home costs.
And what's and
Yes. And then
yes.
parenting, economic development, bringing communities together to take care of the elderly. So and I also formed a nonprofit called Lilypads, lilypads.ca, which is to work with women who would not normally, mainly women, but people that would not normally be afford to be able to get into these same ADUs in people's backyards, even using some of the Barbados chattel home strategy where people could lease their backyard to build a home that is removable for you to live in. So there's a lot of different things that I'm working on.
People, you're hearing what he's about,
Yeah.
right? Very forward thinking,
Yeah.
very community aware of his community. And this whole topic is something we should, really be aware of and committed to, because again, the older generation, the numbers there, as he said, the widows, etc., the numbers are up, and we have to take care of them. And it's wonderful to be included in the plans in this way, right? I gotta say we, up there. I won't tell you exactly where, but up there. So thank you for being here, for listening to John in this first one. You're gonna join us on the membership page, ITC. Thank you, John, for this first leg. We have another conversation.
We'll love to.
Thank you, Caribbean Airlines, DeAndre Laveau, for hanging in. Thank you to Cheese and the OTC team. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. Drop a comment and check out our donate page, please. It's a help and an added support. And as I always say, when you're on your beat, stay on the sunny side of the street safely. Be health conscious, kind to one another, and don't forget to give thanks for the little and big gifts as we strive through this beautiful life. Till on the call. Thank you, John.
It was a pleasure. Welcome home.
Till the next. See you on ITC.